أعد الحمم لا يناله غوص الفطن. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم وآل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين صاحب العصر والزمان خليفة الرحمن إمام الإنس والجان ولعن الله أعداهم أجمعين إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد فقد قال الله وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Lessons from or commentary on Surah Hujurat has been our ongoing topic. Tonight is lecture number 11 and is our final discussion of our month of Ramadan series with all of you beloved brothers and sisters in Melbourne, Australia. We also want to send our mabruk and our tabrik and our congratulations and du'as and mubarak to all of you on this very beautiful azim night, the night of the Wiladat ba Sa'adat of Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. With the arrival of this beautiful Jashan and this beautiful birth comes the midpoint of the month of Ramadan. It's amazing how fast this day comes every year, for me at least, that now, before we know it, we have, the nights of Qadr now are a few nights away, and then of course we head towards the ending of the month of Ramadan. I have several things to say tonight as a conclusion, as a wrap-up. I want to make sure that I give our second Imam his due respect and speak a little bit about him. And also want to make sure that I wrap up what I was trying to achieve with Surah Hujurat for the past now 2 weeks. First of all, a note of thanks and gratitude to the PSV group, the Panjatan Society of Victoria out in Melbourne, Australia. From the moment that we found out that I was not able to travel to Melbourne, and believe me, months ago we began preparing for my arrival. Dates of flights, accommodations, programming, how many days before I would come, how many days after I would stay. I was very excited, and I know that at least I got the feeling as if all of you also were equally looking forward to spending some time with me as well. And the moment that we found out that it couldn't happen, then the team worked diligently, very, very, very hard to bring about these types of programs for all of you. And so first of all, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the tawfiq, the inspiration, the opportunity that even though we are in our homes, even though we are in isolation, we still continue to spread your deen, spread your mission, and learn from the various avenues of knowledge that may be presented to all of us. So I also, on a personal note, want to thank the entire PSV group. I'm not going to mention names, but from weeks before the very first month of Ramadan, in most of the month of Sha'ban, we were talking back and forth about what the best avenue is. It would have been nice if I could speak live to you every single night, but I can't, only because the time zone is so different. Those 3 live sessions that we had, which were run phenomenally by the youth group and the program directing team, the operations team. I'm very thankful for all of you for those 3 amazing sessions. I always learn a great deal when I have those types of interactive sessions. I end up understanding the pain points of the community, and that helps me to deliver an appropriate and a useful message from the minbar. So I'm thankful to the whole team on that, for hosting it, for such a beautifully laid out program, very professional. Alhamdulillah, it went smooth. But to all the people behind the scenes, the IT guys, everyone who worked with me, I am very thankful to all of you for allowing me the honor to be in your homes for the past 2 weeks. I do ask all of you, please support PSV whichever way you can. As you know, sometimes when the moment are not in the centers, the financial donations don't come in as much. And no, they haven't asked me to say anything about financial donations. But I do know, I belong to a community myself, and I do know that when the Momini are not in the building, it's very hard to get any donations from them. Financial support and financial resources are scarce. And so I ask you to please, there's a lot of work behind the scenes. It's not just, email or Google Drive. There's a lot of work behind the scenes to bring about these types of programs. I am thankful to Maulana Mahdavi, first of all, for the amazing job with the Quran Khani. I was able to benefit immensely from him, having the children read and him supporting them and him going through that. It truly is incredible. May Allah bless him, give him a long life, inshallah. I'm thankful to him for allowing me to keep the member warm for him. May Allah accept his efforts, inshallah. And finally, to all the youth out there, that I remember the first time I came many, many years ago. I had a wonderful time knowing all of you. Various sessions inside the center. I had a specific youth meeting, going to the madrasa, even at people's homes. And inshallah, one day, someday soon, when all this calms down and we're able to fly again, barring any sort of personal injury of mine, inshallah, I'll be in your presence once again. So for your tawfiq, inshallah, for the acceptance of your amal, let's recite for yourselves a nice salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. My attempt since day number 1 in the month of the Quran is to examine the verses from Surah Hujurat. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to the ending of it. I think we have about 4 or 5 verses left, but there were some crucial discussions for the first 13 verses of the 49th chapter of the Quran. Everything from being suspicious to tribalism, individualism, to not making the deen harder than it was meant to be, to communication. Right? Qawlan karima, sadida, what is it? Layyana, baligha, all these things we discussed in thorough detail. And let's not forget our live sessions, right? Strengthening the family unit, gratitude, and then of course the circle of influence. So that was the attempt, is to remove the intimidation factor between us and the Quran. To make this book of ours a digestible book that was meant, of course, to be taught to you. وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ, Surah Hujurat says. One of the reasons why Allah sent the Prophet was to teach you the book. So no, I'm not suggesting that you open the book and you become a mufassir overnight, one who does tafsir overnight. No, but there are certain verses that are very, very, as they say, muhkamat, they're very open, they're very clear. Those verses we can ponder on and act upon. Let's remove this barrier between us and the Quran. Understand there are life-changing lessons inside this book of God. That was meant, what? Hudal linnas, for all of mankind. It was meant for a source of guidance. So let's not forget our discussions. Let's do our best. I'm going to do my best to apply what I said myself to all of you. And I pray that Allah also gives you tawfiq to act on what you heard as well. Our second Imam and the birth of his second Imam, is an amazing event in history. The first grandson of the Holy Prophet, the first khushi and the first happiness inside the home of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Sayyid Fatima Zahra, salamu alayhima. And with it, I wanted to discuss a couple of things. One hadith, and then 2 points from his life. So we will not be able to get to any verses today of Surah Hujurat. I wanted to dedicate this entire lecture tonight to Imam Mujtaba alayhi salam, and then inshallah ittibas dua, you'll benefit from the other alim starting from tomorrow night, inshallah. First of all, let's try to understand a little bit of the maqam and the fadilat of this Imam. Okay. The first discussion I want to have with all of you is the difference between a family member and an ahl of somebody. There's a difference. It could be that somebody is family, but they're not your ahl. For example, in the Quran, in the story of Nabi Nuh alayhi salam, Noah, the adab is coming, the flood is there, right? 40 days, 40 nights, they say. It rained to the point where the flood now began to rise. Nabi Nuh is what? Searching for his son. This is who? This is my, He's ahli, he's from my ahl. My son, where is he? I need to save him. The wahi comes down from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Nuhu innahu laysa min ahlik. He's not from your ahl. Right? Innahu amalu ghayr salih. So yeah, he's your son. We're not going to deny the biological aspect of it. Yeah, biologically he's your son. But don't call him your ahl. He's transgressed. He stopped believing in you. Right? He didn't follow your path. Right? Sometimes, to the point where, we have in our books that Nabi Nuh now found him at the top of the mountain, trying to get to the highest peak to avoid the flood. And Nabi Nuh is begging him, come with me, come with me, come with me. And he wouldn't go. Rumi has a very beautiful depiction of this. Rumi, a Mawlavi as they call him in Iran. He talks about this story very well. And it's one of my favorite things to share with all of you. I'll share with you as well. Rumi writes that when Nuh found his son at the top of the mountain, I'm paraphrasing, of course, I don't have that poetic genius that he does. His son says, I'm okay, I know how to swim. I'll survive the adab. I'll survive this flood, I know how to swim. He denies the hand of God, denies the hand of the Prophet towards salvation, all because of his knowledge of swimming. And in the end, the one question that Rumi leaves for us to ponder on as the reader is, if only the son of Nabi Nuh didn't know how to swim. Meaning that veil, that knowledge of knowing how to swim veiled him from the reality that's staring him in the face. This was not your father reaching his hand out. It's the Prophet of God. An ulul azam Prophet of God. But sometimes knowledge, it's not my topic, don't worry. Sometimes knowledge becomes the very veil that we are trying to avoid by attaining knowledge, when that knowledge is not backed up with amal. And that's precisely why the Quran refers to him as, fine, he could be your son, laysa min ahlik, he's not your ahl. So we know that amal is that deciding factor, that criteria that converts somebody from family to ahl. The Prophet of Allah, I think that here is revealed. Everyone's curious, who are these Ahlelbayt? Who are these Ahlelbayt? Am I in the Ahlelbayt, Ya Rasulullah? Am I in the Ahlelbayt, Ya Rasulullah? That's why for 6 months after the revelation of that verse, our booksellers, he went to the door of Fatima. And he would greet her every morning at that door. After Fajr, Salaamu alayka ya Ahlelbayt Nabuwa. If you want to know who the Ahlelbayt are, this is where my Ahlelbayt. They were members of the family of the Prophet. They were uncles. They were cousins. But those individuals were not in, they're their family, no doubt. You can't deny the blood relation. But they're not your ahl. They weren't your ahl. The Ahlelbayt are khas individuals. And what's the basis of them being the Ahlelbayt? The ahl of your family is the fact that they were the ones that were a carbon copy, an attempt to be a carbon copy of the amal of Rasulullah. There were many who accepted the Prophet. But when it came time in the maidan of the amal, in the field of action, in the field of application of the Prophet's teachings, it's only these khas Ahlelbayt that were a cut above the rest. So they in turn, they were family also, right? That's his daughter, that's his son-in-law, those are his grandsons, of course. So on one side, there's a genetic, a biological dimension. But what made them the Ahlelbayt was not bloodlines and genetics. What made them the Ahlelbayt was the amal. And the fact that they took the sunnat of Rasulullah as a hujjat for themselves. Many didn't. That were also blood of the Holy Prophet. Forget rejecting the Prophet. Right? There are many people who ridiculed him. Made his life very difficult. So we find out that ahl and amal are connected. Now come to the hadith. The Prophet describes Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein alayhim salatu wassalam as saying what? Sayyiday Shabab Ahl Jannah. Right? It does not say, does not talk about the Ashab of Jannah. In the Quran we talk about Ashab Jannah. Right? Ashab Nar, the companions of the heaven, the companions of the hell. Right? Hum fiha khalidun. They'll be in there forever. The ashab of the Prophet were one. The ahl of the Prophet were the other. The ashab of Jannah is one. The ahl of heaven and Jannah is something else. Obviously now we understand. While the ashab have their own maqam, and those who reach Jannah have their own maqam, the ahlul Jannah is something higher. Absolutely something higher. We understand that by the story of Nabi Nuh and the story of the Holy Prophet. Ahl and ashab are not the same thing. Many sahabis of the Holy Prophet, nobody touched the Ahlul Bayt. The hadith does not say, my brothers and my sisters, very beautifully, please, does not say that Imam Mujtaba was the Ahl of Jannah. No. The hadith says he is the Sayyid of the Ahl Jannah. So as high as the Ahl Jannah are, the Sayyid of the Ahl Jannah, how high must he be? That is who? That's our second Imam. Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajah. This wiladat is not ordinary wiladat. Unfortunately, I say it almost every year, and I remember saying it years ago on the Melbourne member, that he is one of the Imams, one of them, that oftentimes is either misunderstood or there's still oppression done on his name today. Historians still refer to him as somebody who's a mitlaq. A mitlaq comes from talaq in Arabic. A mitlaq is somebody not who divorces, somebody who habitually divorces. Certain books still today in the Islamic world, can you imagine, have written that this man, our second beloved Imam, has divorced and married 70 different women in his life. A blatant lie. A blatant lie. And unfortunately, the only thing that we know about Imam Mujtaba is his treaty with Muawiyah. Even that, people often wonder why why would he come to terms with someone like Muawiyah? And that's not my topic. And I don't want to go down a biography of him. Enough for all of you to know that he lived in a very difficult time, but he did live under the supervision of his father for 30 years of his life. The first 30 years of his life, he was there when the Prophet of Allah, when Imam Ali was alive. When Imam Ali, of course, was shaheed by the hands of Ibn Muljam, then for another 8 to 9 years he was made an Imam, and close to the age of 48 or 49, he was shaheed at the hands of his own wife. Now, buried, of course, in Baqi in Medina, born in Medina as well. Now, some say that his shahadat date is either the 7th of Safar, which is sometimes commemorated, or the 28th of Safar, which also both of them I've seen commemorated across different centers. But his birth date is quite unanimous, being the 15th of the month of Ramadan, in the third year after Hijrah. Second year, after Hijrah. So, what I wanted to talk a little bit about tonight for him, and I do have some time right now, is two things. Number one is his generosity. Now, I've spoken about sakhawat before, generosity before. I don't want to go down that route. But I do want to say that his generosity was something unique. You know, we have in our community sometimes this idea, this notion of the dastakhan of Imam Hassan. Not sure if it happens in Melbourne. It happens here in Toronto a lot. We often ask every year when it comes about, that a lot of my youth ask me, what's the history behind this Maulana? And I remind them and I tell them that this was a man who 3 times in his life gave up half of his wealth. 3 times in his life, half of his wealth. He was a man who would frequent the poor in Medina, to the point where sometimes his own companions would find him sitting on the ground, eating with the poor of Medina, and they would say, Ya Ibn Rasul, this is not munasib for you. This is not appropriate for the Khalifa and the Imam of the time or someone from your family to be sitting on the ground with these people. With these people now eating. He then would, of course, invite them over to his house, to their house. And in the process, there's This would happen multiple times. Imam Mustaba's door was known to be an open door policy. Right? Many people who were destitute, who were the faqir and the fuqara, and those who were beggars inside Medina would find themselves, it's a free meal, right? Would sit there with inside the home of Imam Mustaba. He would have a sufra, the sakhan laid out, and they would come and they would eat and go. It'd be a full day event. And that's perhaps maybe where we have this idea, this notion of the dastakhan of Imam Mustaba alayhi salatu wasalam. His generosity, however, did not come with conditions. The famous story of the 3-day fast of Imam Ali and Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, salamullahi alayhima, and Surah Al-Insan captures this very beautifully. That for 3 nights they were fasting now, and every single night that they want to open their fast, somebody would come to the door, right? One day a yatim, one day a faqir, one day an asir, one day an orphan, one day a beggar, one day a captive. And they would give whatever they had to the person who would come asking for food. Imagine fasting all day, about to open your fast, someone comes and you give them all your food. Okay? Now they had enough, barely enough to get by, but it wasn't what they had before. They gave it all away. Now who's watching all this? Imam Mushtaba, at a very young age, is watching the generosity of his parents. And they do it without any, right? إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ وَلَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شَكُورًا. Surah Insan. We gave out of what? عَلَى حُبِّهِ. We gave, out of the wajh of Allah. إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ. Out of the essence of Allah. We don't want, la nuridu minkum. We don't need anything from you. Not a jaza, not a shukr, not a thankfulness, not a reward. We do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when they gave without conditions. When they gave without, where's my income tax receipt, right? Where is my plaque at the end of the year? Where is my certificate? Where is my talia and applause? All that was gone. I did liwajhillahi, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't want a jaza or a shukr. What will this dunya give in terms of jaza and shukr that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can't compare to? So one of the first points from the life of a mushtaba for myself and for all of you is to be a generous person. Give. But give without conditions. You give and then you wait. Did they thank me? Did they use it? Did they not use it? I remember one brother had given me a ring, okay? A ring, because sometimes I don't wear rings because sometimes it bothers my fingers. Sometimes I do, but wearing a ring. Okay, this is years ago, and every time he saw me on the minbar, every time he looked for the ring that I naturally. And one day he says, "Look, why aren't you wearing my ring?" I go, "Honestly, when I wear it, it cuts my finger. So I'm trying to make sure. I'm trying to see if I can I'm trying to fix it, but after a while, it just wouldn't." So he made it a point to say, look, I gave that ring out of the goodness of my heart. And I go, look, brother, with all due respect, I took your gift. I'm doing my best to wear it, right? Now this added pressure, where's my ring? Where's the watch I gave you? Is that the pen I gave you? So, next time just please keep the ring. It's okay. There's a lot of pressure, right? Those kind of things. We don't want jaza and shukr. We don't want the constant reminder, oh, remember that ring I gave you? Saalon 10 saal ke baad jo hai yaad dilayenge. Right? Yeah, I did this for you. I don't want that ahsan over anybody. And when you give, don't give like that. Give fi sabilillah, liwajhillah, essence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the one that gave you. He's the one that sees your generosity. He's the one that will reward you immensely. That's point number one. Point number two is I want to share with you a hadith from Imam Mujtaba alayhi salam. And he says that do not think for a moment that you've been created without a purpose. Okay? Everything for you has been ordained. Everything for you has already been written. Now, that's not a discussion on predestination, that everything, we're carrying out Allah's commands. If He knows everything, say, what's the point of doing all this? That's a different discussion, and a question, inshallah, one day, someday, I'll answer. It requires a very thorough answer. But the first part of the hadith is extremely important, that he says, you were not created without a purpose. Sometimes, when life gets the better of us, we end up saying, what's the point of all this? What am I doing here? Out of frustration, like, what is this? Like, where am I going with all this? And we end up losing our focus. Okay? And the example I'll give you is, a GPS. Now, we use Google Maps here, and some people use Waze. Not sure what happens in Melbourne, but, the example I'll give you is a very simple one. You're about to leave the driveway, And the first thing you do, like for example, if I go to someone's home, someone calls me and says, Sayed, can you come by the house for a bit? We have an issue. No problem. Send me your address. I pop into Google Maps on my driveway before I back out with my car, so I know exactly where I'm going. And now I follow it to a T. Okay? And the destination is inside the actual software. Okay? I'm going to 123, I don't know, 123, I don't know, Melbourne Way, okay? Let's say, for example. And now it tells me left here, right here, go straight, go right, go left. Okay, fine. If I am to take a wrong turn somewhere, if I made a left instead of a right, it does what? Does it break down, shut off? Say, you don't even know how to follow a map properly, dude. I'm done. No. It does what? It reroutes you. If I was to take 40 left turns, 40 wrong turns 40 times, it'll reroute me. It will continue to reroute me provided that the destination in my software does not change. If I don't change that address, it will take me all the way back to that point of deviation. You were going great until now. I told you go right, you went left. Now you have to go through 3 right turns sometimes to get back to that point of deviation, to the point where you strayed. Now follow my direction properly. Now you go good for about a mile, 2 miles, and then you make a right instead of a left. A U-turn when you shouldn't have. You stop when you shouldn't have, etc., etc. Again, it'll reroute you, take you all the way back to that point of deviation. It'll keep doing that, provided you don't change that destination. Okay? We're no different. Inside of our spiritual GPS, our destination is G-O-D, God. We leave him in that GPS, and no matter what happens in our life, if we make a wrong turn, allow God to reroute you. Now, sometimes, you have to you have to go through a series of one-ways to get back to that point. And you have to be a little bit patient while you make your way back to that point. And sometimes people lose their patience. But it's no wonder that God says, look, you can make 1,000 mistakes. I will continue to reroute you and reroute you and reroute you. Just don't do what? Don't replace me as your destination. Don't remove G-O-D and put money in there. Don't remove God and put fame in there, fortune in there, shu'urat in there, sasti shu'urat as they say, naqli shu'urat as they say, cheap fame, right? Is that at your own cost, not at the cost of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No, everything. Everything is there. Now, whenever we replace what should be an avenue for the destination, then we end up being lost. Then we have to say, look, okay, it says I'm here. I don't understand. You have arrived. I'm looking around. I'm seeing cows. I'm seeing, farms. I'm seeing dead land. I'm seeing no sign of human life. This is not where I wanted to go. What is this? Is this a joke? I don't understand. Baba, you were going fine until you changed the destination. Imam Mujtaba is reminding us, don't ever think for a moment that this has been created for nothing. This entire intricate universe had wisdom behind it. And this intricate world was all made for you, meaning us, the insan, and we, the insan, were made for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? It's vital that we understand that, yes, every little action that we do, every struggle, every hardship, every test that we go through is a sense for us to keep trucking along to our destination. Don't replace that destination, no matter how difficult it gets. There are moments, I remember driving to someone's house, and he told me, look, Maulana, I live far. Okay? I live far. So I remember driving to one guy's house, true story. An hour and a half from my house, driving. There are moments where, beautiful highway, scenery, a bunch of cars. Then there was a moment in that journey where it was a little bit bumpy. It was bumpy. Pothole. To the point where I'm like, am I going the right way? This is really a rough road. So I look at the GPS, it says, yeah, keep going straight. Okay. Then there are moments where it's completely desert. Not one street light, not even a cow, nothing. Just me and the road and my car. I'm like, again, check the GPS. Am I going the right? Yeah, I am. And then I hit lights, okay. And then I hit life. And then I hear a strip mall. Then I see this. Okay. So there are moments where you question, am I going the right way or not? But you have to keep going on the path. I didn't once sit there and delete the address or put another address in there. I didn't do that. I kept going, kept checking. Am I going? Yeah, I'm going. Yes, I'm going. Right? Because not everything will be beautiful, bright lights, put it on cruise, take a nap, and it's not a Tesla, right? It's not a self-driving car, at least not yet. At least I don't have one. But I didn't change the destination. I didn't change the address. Same idea. We also cannot, especially my youth out there, life will get difficult. I'm sorry, I'm not going to sugarcoat things for you guys and say, oh, as long as you have iman and you pray namaz, you will fly by life. No, Baba. No, Baba. This dunya tested the prophets. This dunya took things away from the imams. This dunya will also test you and I. In fact, the higher you go up the realm of spirituality, the tougher the test will be. And that's exactly how God's system is. Let's get used to it. Let's digest it. Let's ingest it. Let's stop searching for moments where, okay, when is this test going to end? It's not going to end. Okay? And why that is an entire ashra in Muharram, inshallah, one day, someday. It's enough to know that we have to stop looking for that. Instead, like I often say, what we want to do is look for moments where our iman is preserved, protected, to get through the storm. Nobody, with all due respect to myself and to all of you, nobody wants, not one verse of the Quran, not one hadith, nobody ever told you this dunya will throw hardships at everybody but you. It's going to rain, pouring rain, but there'll be one circle of sunlight and you'll be inside that circle. No, it's not like that. You'll get drenched. From head to toe, the rain will drown you and drench you. The kamal of your iman is that while you are drenched from head to toe, are you still saying La ilaha illallah? Because there are moments that people during the height of that storm, that's when they say, Khuda Hafiz, I'm out. فَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُمْ فِتْنَةٌ انْقَلَبَ عَلَى وَجْهِهِ. The moment a test comes, they turn their face away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran says. They turn their face. Look, you stop testing me, God, I'm fine. The moment you test me, I'm out. Those kind of people, they worship Allah on the edge of a cliff, the Quran says. On the edge of a boundary. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Right? It's like the person on their nikah day is calling me like hours before the nikah is being recited, saying, Maulana, if I get divorced this guy tomorrow, what are my rights? I'm like, huh? This is your nikah day. Are you okay? Are you convinced about this guy being the right guy for you? It sounds like you're telling your mom, look, just in case, keep the car running. If things don't work out by next Tuesday, I'll hop in and drive me back to your house. Whoa, whoa. That's how we worship God. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Look, let's test this deen thing out. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, I got a promotion. I got a good guy to marry. I got a child. Oh wait, cancer diagnosis. Oh wait, miscarriage. Oh wait, this, that. Oh wait, lost my job. Yeah, I'm out. Thanks. That's not how it works. There's a purpose. And the purpose is God. And sometimes God makes us get to Him through hardship. Sometimes the roads are bumpy. Sometimes the road is pitch black. Sometimes bright lights, beautiful cities, skylines, right? Strip malls, waterfalls, all gorgeous drive in the mountains. Sometimes huge potholes. Just don't change your GPS destination from God to anything in this world. Your maqsad has always been God. The purpose is always God. When you study, it's God. When you love someone, it's God. When you have a child, it's God. When you worship your parents, it's God. When you listen to a speech by Asad Jafri, it's God. Has to be, everything has to be God. God is not fasli, where He sees no. Month of Ramadan, God's here. 2nd of Shawwal after Eid, Khulaf is God. Nor is He farishi, He's on the carpet. He's actually arishi, on the arsh. Okay? You have to search from up there. It comes from a beautiful statement by Imam Hassan Mujtaba alayhi salatu wasalam. Okay. This is an amazing Imam who has left behind words of wisdom for us that are incredible. Incredible. Okay? And I don't want to make it a lengthy discussion tonight. I do want to make sure all of you understand 2 points in Tamasudua. Number 1 is the idea of giving. Giving without any conditions. Don't place that headache on yourself. Then I wonder, will they use it, not use it, will they give it, not? And every time you see them, are you wearing your shirt? I actually have people who, they give me these kufis sometimes, okay? They go to Hajj, very nice, very nice. And, I have a big head, right? Big surprise. I have a big head. Doesn't fit sometimes, okay? So every time I come to the masjid, I'll actually have people call me and say, yeah, are you reciting? Yeah, can you wear the kufi? I got you. I said, brother, it doesn't fit. Oh, Just try to, it's stretchable. Try to stretch it out. Like, okay, why? I don't like. I'll wear it when I want. Oh, I just kind of want to tell my guy friends. Oh, like he's wearing my kuf. I get it. That's nice. It's a lot of pressure on me. A lot of pressure on you. Right? I'm going to disappoint you. You're going to be unhappy. I've had people ask for the gift back because I didn't use it properly. Bobby, here, take it back. Second point is destination, purpose. Don't change it to anything else but God. Do not make the avenue to God, God itself. Okay? Money was meant to take you to God if it's used properly. Your husband was meant to take you to God. Motherhood was meant to take you to God, not the other way around. It wasn't meant to be God. Money wasn't meant to be God. Your husband wasn't meant to be God. Motherhood wasn't meant to be God, etc., etc. Don't mix the path for the destination or the destination for the path. You're bound to get somewhere. It says you have arrived and you are in the middle of nowhere. Now you're depressed, now you're angry, now you're frustrated, and now you say khulafis to the deen. Inqalaba ala wajhihi. You turn your face away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to accept our qaleel efforts. We ask you, Allah, to bless the Melbourne community and give them health, give them iman, give them prosperity. Again, please accept my apology if I said anything to upset all of you. May Allah forgive your sins, and may Allah allow you to stand beside the Imam when he comes. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.